folks, and welcome to Great Chesterford Junction Model Railway. And what we're looking at today is the update for June 2024. And what we're going to look at is further work that's been done here beside me on Bamford. It's a continuation on from the work on the footbridge, which was completed, and I showed you that in the last update. So we'll have a look at where we've gone from there. Now, these improvements are not necessarily in order, but we're working from right to left, basically, to show what has happened here. And for the eagle-eyed amongst you, you may notice that there's an extra building there behind the goods shed. It's a row of terrace cottages, and I just felt that it looks right there. It was actually initially 4 cottages. In other words, there were 4 chimneys on the roof. However, it sort of laid over the back of my goods shed, and you could see the building through the door, and I'd rather just see countryside there. So I've shortened that building. And the reason I put it there, I think it sort of better defines the roadway out of the town into the countryside there. So that's why I did it. Anyway, right or wrong, it's in there now. So that's just a background scene. The next major thing that was done was this water tank. This is a daypole kit, and pretty standard actually. And this was set into the hill just here. And if we zoom in a little bit, you can see a retaining wall was built to hold the hill at bay. And then a card base was put in and painted to look like concrete. And then the kit was sat on this base. And my friend Gary suggested that a wall at the back would also look good, so I added that wall in the back there. The kit was painted in GWR colours and weathered as well. The painting, especially on the little scalloped corners there, I guess that's the right word, scalloped, but the little curved pieces on the corners, that was done, and I was quite fortunate to have a tool with me that helped me with that. What I did was I sprayed the dark brown first and sprayed over into the intersection there. And then when it came time to do the cream, and especially the curved sections there, I had an 8mm punch, and I was able to punch circles out of masking tape, standard masking tape, and they matched up perfectly with the curves on the corners there. So I put the masking tape dots down, if you like, and then went over the rest of the brown with Tamiya masking tape, which is a nice thin tape, very good tape as well, masked it all off. So in total there were 16 of those little dots, because there's 4 sides, there's 4 dots to a side. So it was all masked up, and then the cream colour was sprayed. And once the spraying was done, then the masking tape was carefully removed to give this sort of result. It was also given plenty of time to dry, and eventually it was weathered. The weathering was done with pastels, chalk pastels, and I'm a great believer in using those, and they work rather well for me. Otherwise, the kit is rather standard, except for the ladder, which is a ratio part. I found the ladder with the kit was a bit heavy, so I've added a ratio part which is considerably finer. And if we zoom in again, I've added this bracing bar just below the tank, the horizontal bar. That's additional. That was from a Walther's kit, I think. And also, if we just go down and look at the bottom there, the horizontal bars across the bottom, bits of gal wire that were added, just to change the kit slightly and sort of put my own stamp on it. The kit as it is it's an old kit, and it goes together reasonably well. The tricky part is getting the bracing stays in there and getting them to line up correctly, but it's an old kit, but you know, I think it suits the scene there. So after that was all sorted out, I was then left with a bit of a gap here where you can see this grounded van body now, and this wall next to the steps at the end of the cattle dock. So I had to work out what to do in here, and I decided to make a couple of stone walls to match the other wall on the platform there. This stone wall is made from foam board, which is scored with an H2 pencil, and then coloured with acrylics and chalk pastels. So that wall goes straight across there to the grounded van body, and then behind the grounded van body. Over the back there I've just put a standard brick wall, and a bit further in, if we just zoom in just a little bit more, there's a gate there, and this forms a low enclosure to store a couple of cattle in there before they head on up the ramp up to the cattle dock. So there's also a dirt floor area in that compound there. And so once I built the compound, I then moved on to this area here where the grounded van body is, and I thought, well, what do I put in here? And I had an old van body that I thought, well, you know, I'm not going to really use it, it's a bit ordinary. So I had to actually reduce its length by a quarter to get it to sit in this site properly. But so the back end of it's missing. Took the roof off and took out the locating peg that goes in that rectangular hole there. I thought that could become a window, so there's some glazing in there. The whole thing was a light brown colour, plastic coloured initially, so it's been painted and weathered. Again, using chalk pastels and acrylic paints. A little chimney was added to the top, so we're assuming there's a little pot-belly stove in there, and it sits on a couple of supposed wooden sleepers there. So that just sort of, I think, neatly finishes off that scene there. You'll probably notice that some ground cover has been added to the hill. There's still a lot more to be done here on the hill. There's got to be some trees and shrubs, etc. go in here, and then we'll move on to the next part of the hill here. There's going to be a retaining wall around the signal box. Now I'll have to reposition the camera, but I thought, well, we might as well complete the job. This track here, when it leaves the room out behind this hill here with all the trees on it, initially I just had a rectangular hole in the wall, because as you see from this viewpoint you can't actually see the trains leave the room. But I thought, well, we might as well do a good job of it. So if we just go handheld for a moment, what we've got here is an image. It's actually Totley Tunnel in Sheffield. So I downloaded this image and scaled it to the right size for here, because the track, when it goes out through the wall here, it actually goes out on a curve. So a single track portal, tunnel portal, wasn't actually wide enough to suit this particular location. So I needed a double track portal, and the Totley one just sort of fitted in nicely here. And also behind that I've put some black foam board, and I've blackened the ground area there. I've still got to get some ballast up this end, but yeah, and I thought it came up rather well. Yeah, I've put some extra trees in up here as well in the background. So what I did first was I put the trees on the back scene first, then I laid the Totley Tunnel portal over that, and then I laid some more trees shortened just on the right hand side, covering the side of the tunnel there. So to get a better idea of what it looks like, we might use a camera car, and you can get a view of it when you're approaching it. Right, so here's my camera car setup at Bamford Station, and what we're going to do is give you a view of the track going out through the tunnel, and then we'll probably do it coming back in again as well. So we're all set to go here, so we'll send him on his way, and you can get a view of what it's like leaving the station here. Okay, we've got the loco set up with the camera wagon on the other end now, and what we'll do is we'll take it out into the tunnel and then we'll bring it back in to the platform and probably even take it right up to the coal stage. Okay, let's do that now. So the plan is to keep going along the hill beyond past the ruined castle there towards the tunnel, and now it's time for undergrowth, grass, ballast along the edge of the track there, trees, that sort of thing. Pure scenic work, I think you'd have to say would be the case now, because I think actually as far as buildings go, Bamford is now complete. So yeah. Well, the railway's never complete, folks. There's still a lot to do. But anyway, so there we are. Anyway, I'll leave you with that. This is just a brief update, and I'll catch you online. See you next time. Cheers. Gourmet.